Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Marta, I come from Norway and I love makeup, and today I'm going to be testing out the BH Cosmetics Naughty palette for the first time. As you can see, I did one look on each eye, which I just I don't have any plans today, and I really just wanted to try the different shades because I'm really inspired by all the colors in the palette. So I just decided to do two different looks. So this is how it's looking on the inside, and I just feel like it has so many different beautiful colors. It's mostly, of course, warm toned, but it does have quite a few of other colors as well that I find really interesting. For example, you have quite a few of purples here, and they're quite different. And you also have those gorgeous mustard tones, you have a green, you also have two green shimmers. Yeah, I just really like this palette, so I ended up buying it, and I really do not regret it. But let's just get started and go straight into the two looks that I did. So as you already saw from my intro, I am doing two different looks today, just because I'm so excited to try out this palette. Oh, I'm seeing so many more looks I want to do with it. But I'm going to do a green look for one of my eyes and a more purpley look for the other eye. So I'm going to focus on the green and the mustard tones for the first eye, which is going to be my right eye. And I'm just going to start by taking the shade Hot Cocoa right here to act as like a deepening shade for my crease. I did actually already apply some of these mattes, but I had forgotten to turn on my microphone, so I'm just doing it again. So I really just want this to act as a deepening shade, so I'm not applying more than this to start with, and I'm just buffing out the edges ever so slightly just to make sure I get a nice blend with that green shade. So I'm just going to use that same brush, Kaleidos S5 brush, and I'm going to apply the shade Balsam right on top of that brown, and I'm going to slightly blend this as well, but I think I might use one of the neutral skin toned shades just to help with the blend, just because they are in the palette, so why not use them? So I am taking this green almost halfway through my crease, and then I'm going to go in with that shade called Mold, and it sounds like I'm saying mold. How do you say mold? I don't know. But I'm going to use that as like the deepening shade for the inner part of my crease, and then use the shade Misbehave for like a blending shade for the inner parts. So this is looking really good this far. Both the deep brown and the green performed so nicely. I of course need to blend this a bit more, but I first want to make sure that this tacky base, I think you can even see how moist it's looking. I want to make sure that that is set so that I don't drag the green further up. So I'm just using the shade Maroonish right now with the big fluffy brush, and I'm just like patting it down to make sure I actually set the base, and then I can just help with the blending. And I'm going to go back in a little bit with the green as well, just to make sure I have the pigmentation that I want. So now I'm picking up that deeper mustardy orangey toned shadow. It has a lot of kick up in the pan, but as you can see, it's also super pigmented, and I just love this combination of colors. So I just added some glitter glue on my lid. I tried to add a very thin layer so that the shadows won't crease, and I'm going to use the shades Mistletoe and Spicy. So I'm going to use Mistletoe on the outer corner, and for the inner part here I'm going to use the shade Spicy. Okay, so I really did not expect the shimmers to be that good. I feel like they're like so sparkly and beautiful. Like not as sparkly as Tammy Tanuka pigments and stuff, but definitely more sparkly than I expected. So I'm really loving this far, and I think I'm just going to move on to the other side, like the other look that I'm doing, because I want to do the lower lash line after I finish off my skin makeup. So for this eye, I'm going to go ahead and use the shade Coal, because I feel like that has a kind of purplish base, even though it is a black. So I'm also going to use that just like I used the deeper brown for the other eye, just to deepen up the outer V. I definitely feel I was right. It does have a kind of a reddish purpley undertone to it, but now I'm just going to go ahead and use the shade Brick, which is like almost a burgundy red, but also kind of a little bit purpley. Now I'm taking the shade Sugar Plum, which is more of a dusty purple, and I'm just going to use that as like the deepening shade for the inner part of my crease, just because I really want to go in with that bright purple for the inner part of my lid right here as the lighter shade. These shades are just blending so nicely. Like, obviously I didn't work on the blending of the red yet, but this is looking really good. So now I'm taking that bright fun purple color. I'm mostly going to just apply it on top of what I already did here. Can you see how nicely this shade fades? Obviously I picked up a lot on my brush. I feel like I definitely got way too much of that purple, so I'm just taking the shade Marine to try to like tone it down a little bit again. I feel like I really need something that is a little bit more pink for the outer side here. Like, I'm just playing today. I'm not going anywhere. Just really want to try out some different shades. I just need something that blends into this. Again, I'm just taking a little bit of meringue to make sure the base is set here and won't grip onto the color too high up. What I really like about these colors is that meringue is like perfect for me because I'm so pale, but then you have the shade next to it, which is called Secret Santa, which is slightly deeper, so I feel like that will be great for, honestly, I think most deeper skin tones. And obviously you also have the shade Yuletide, but that is more of a really warm tone, but I really feel like this is a very inclusive palette. I feel like I need to work on the blending on the outer corner here, so now I'm taking another shade called Nutcracker. I feel like that is almost a bit more like in the middle of that black shade, but also that red shade that I first applied. So I just feel like that could work nice for the blend here. Then going back into the shade Sugar Plum to connect the warmer to the more cooler tones of the look. Like, this is going a completely different direction than what I first expected when going into this look, but I'm kind of liking it. Just the tiniest bit of Santa Baby. And then I'm just working on the blending. I feel like it already looks so good considering how little I did blend. So I'm super excited about this, you guys. I think I want to use a little bit more of that purple just because I really blended it out. But first I'm just really going to make sure that I don't drag it further up. So I'm just really packing on that transition or skin tone shade. And I don't think I need a lot of that purple. I barely dipped my brush into that bright purple, making sure I leave the pigment, most of it, where I actually want it to be super pigmented. And then I'm just blending. And I'm taking slightly more of Sugar Plum. And I'm just going to work on the outer corner afterwards when I do my lower lash line. So I think I'm ready to go in with my shimmer. So again, I just applied a little bit of glitter glue all over the lid, and I'm just going to use the shade Candied Fruit because it looks so stunning. It's like a very, very duochrome shade. It has a more berry base, but then it has these almost light blue sparkles. I really want to see how intense I can get this, so I just put it on my finger right here. So I'm going to try to like foil it a little bit more. So I actually thought that this shade would apply and be a lot more textured, but it's actually quite smooth, but it still has all that sparkle that I like. It's just for me personally. I could definitely like to have some more texture to it, but it's nevertheless really beautiful. So these are my 2 looks this far, and I'm just going to remove this and I'm going to do my face makeup. Now I'm just taking the shimmer called Snow Day for the inner corner here on the purple eye. It's super pigmented, so I have to remove a little bit. And on the other side I'm going to apply the one that's called Very Merry, which is a very light green. And on both sides I do have some glitter glue laid as a base. So that is how both my finished look turned out, and I really like how this palette performed on the eyes. I'm so excited to try more of the shadows because I feel like there's so many combinations in it, so I'm really excited to use it for Christmas. I didn't really film my lower lash lines, but I just ended up using the same shades that I used in my crease for the green look and for the purple look. I just used the shade Sugar Plum and blended it out. Then I also ended up using some of the glitters for my eyes, so I used the more warm toned one on this eye and the more pinky cool toned one on the left eye. And I really feel like the glitters added that little extra, and I really like how it looks. For my lips I ended up using my lip liner from BH Cosmetics, and it's in the shade Earth, and then I just topped it off with a tiny bit of my Proper Beauty Made It lipstick just to give it a little bit of moisture, because I didn't really want an orange lip to this look, but I didn't really bring a lot of different shades with me except from my Superstay matte ink from Maybelline, and those are like impossible to remove so I didn't bother using that today. But yeah, and for my cheeks I actually ended up using the 2 shades Santa Baby and Frosting for my blush, and then I used the same shades that I used for my inner corners for the highlight, and I definitely feel like they look really good as highlight and blush, so it's really nice to have a versatile palette, especially if you're like traveling for the holidays or something like that. And all in all, I'm just super happy with this palette, and yeah, I definitely recommend it this far for the shades that I have tried, and I'm excited to use it more. So yeah, I hope that this video was helpful for you and that you liked it. If you did, then please give this video a thumbs up and comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!